My name is Sanjay Batra. I'm here today with my wife, Amy. By way of background, I have a PhD in physiology, and I've spent my entire career in healthcare. We created Wethrivv because we felt a great unmet need in our industry. We work in regenerative medicine, dermatology, aesthetics, and plastic surgery. And we wanted to create better products to change the world.
Hi, I'm Amy Batra, and I'm one of the owners of Wethrivv along with my husband, Sanjay Batra. I started my career in 2004 working for Sanofi Aventis in the aesthetic industry. And I've been in this industry ever since. And for the last 10 years, 12 years actually, we've been working in regenerative medicine. Wethrivv came around because we had some time on our hands during COVID, and I started thinking about what was I missing, when I would go to a spa and get a treatment done. And that's where Mascade came in. I just felt like there wasn't great post-treatment care, and I started doing my research and really got into it, and hence today we have Mascade Professional and Consumer.
So remember back 3 years ago with the pandemic, we were thinking about what we do and what we love, and we were talking about aesthetics and dermatology and the unmet needs.
Yeah, we definitely were. I remember talking with Frank, because at that time we were talking a lot about transdermal technology, and I was thinking, how can I morph this into something aesthetic?
I think we've always had an interest in skin and dermatology. And I think you had that moment where you realized that a patient following a facial aesthetic procedure isn't treated well enough, that there had to be something better.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that little round ice pack was just not enough after your face was red and hot and, inflamed.
Yeah. So you went out and created something.
Yeah, I did. I mean, it took about 2.5 years, and I don't know how many different iterations, maybe 11. And now we have Mascade, Professional and Consumer.
I think the interesting thing in the evolution is we started with a much more complicated product.
Definitely.
But as you developed it, you ended up making it very simple, very easy to use, and the post-procedure mask only is hydrogel and highly purified water.
Right.
We stripped it down to the essential necessary items.
Yeah. You're right, because in the beginning we had ingredients, and then I spoke to all these different doctors and experts, and they were saying no ingredients, especially post-procedure.
When I think back over the last 3 years, we had a lot of time. We were at home, we were brainstorming, we were looking at unmet needs, and I think that's something that we have in common. We try to find solutions to problems.
Yeah, definitely. I remember at the beginning of COVID, and we were, I was working on that hair study, and that got shut down, and just started thinking about what are we going to do? What interests us? And then we started just talking about all different ideas, but they always came back to skin and hair and beauty and wellness.
Yeah, I think you're right. We've always had a common interest in dermatology that brings us to facial aesthetics and hair. And we put that together in our own company, Wethrivv.
Wethrivv, yeah.
When you look at beauty and the burgeoning brands that exist, celebrity brands to indie brands to big pharmaceutical companies, I think where we are different is we don't want to be something for everyone. We want to find specific solutions to unmet needs. At the end of the day, you can't be all things to all people. And at Wethrivv, I think we've really focused on our brands.
I think that's true. Because as soon as you try to be all things to all people, you can A, lose yourself, who you are and what you're trying to achieve, and B, it's just too much. It's just too much. So what I really like about how we work together is, I'm obviously more the skin person and you're into hair, but we're both into hair and skin and wellness, and I think it's just a good fit.
The scalp at the end of the day is part of your skin, and I focused on solutions for hair loss. and you focused on solutions for facial aesthetics.
Yeah.
And we've come together to
Yep.
create Wethrivv.
Yep.
I think the thing about Wethrivv that makes us different is we're intentionally small, but very purpose-driven. We're not trying to be all things to all people. We're not chasing every goal or every
Right.
opportunity, but focusing in on those things that there's a large unmet medical need.
Right.
And I think we've done that with Mascade and Revivv.
I agree. I mean, I think that we've done a really good job incorporating what could be two different, areas, but hair and skin. But we have that background of working with dermatologists and regenerative medicine, and I think that's also what makes us different, is because we have a lab.
Yeah.
I'm not a scientist, but I am a
Biohacker.
I'm a biohacker. And I think that's another thing that makes us different, is that we can be really good at what we do because we have knowledge and we have the ability to learn more. And I feel like we do that all the time in the lab.
As I'm listening to you talk, it really does allow me to reflect at the deep domain expertise that we have.
Yeah.
You in sales and marketing and education.
Yeah.
It's really quite profound, and I'm a scientist, so
Yeah.
I really appreciate what we bring together.
Yeah. We're a good match.
Making me tear up.
I know. I can't help it. So for me, Wethrivv, I mean, it's part of our ethos. It's who we are. It definitely aligns with our personal values, because we both want products that are top-notch. We want to be the best at everything that we do and provide the best products to our customers. And that's how we act in our personal lives. And I think that, we're doing the same with, at Wethrivv.
I think it's an evolution. You worked in ophthalmology, you worked in HIV, I've worked in cardiovascular medicine, oncology, metabolism.
Yeah.
And we got to this place where we were ready to leave pharmaceuticals, and
Yeah.
we ended up in medical devices, as you know.
Yeah.
And then we went to consumer products. And I think it's really our ability to connect with the customer that makes this really special.
Yeah.
It makes our journey special. You and I talk to our customers almost every day.
Yeah, we do. And you know that I have my friend customers that call me
Yeah.
about hair. I've told you about Phil, right?
Yeah.
Phil, the old guy who calls me and says, Amy, I don't think it's working, or whatever, and then I have a 30-minute conversation with him, and he's back on this, same page ordering product. And
Yeah, I think the beauty of Wethrivv is we don't aspire to be the biggest company.
No.
We actually aspire to be small and nimble and innovative
Yeah.
and creative, and to work with great people.
yeah, I think working with great people is critical for both of us, because we don't have time in our life for the people that, we don't like, or that aren't very friendly, or just have bad attitudes. So I think that,
It comes down to the ethos of our company.
Right.
And I'm very proud to say that everyone we work with is sort of like our family.
Oh.
And that small knit community that we've created
Yeah.
is something that makes the journey just that much more special.
yeah, it's definitely a family.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're so lucky.
So Revivv is easy to use. It's perhaps my favorite feature about the product. And it took me to be 60 years of age to be able to realize something so simple. And that is, if something's easy to use, people will use it.
That's so true.
I simply apply it to my scalp once or twice a day. It takes 15 seconds. The product dries clean and clear, absorbs into my scalp, and doesn't affect my hairstyle. Last job in corporate America was at Johnson & Johnson. And in that role, I had responsibility for a variety of therapeutic areas, including oncology, cardiovascular medicine, diabetes, some really profoundly difficult areas in health and in wellness. And when I started working in dermatology, one of my interests was hair loss. And at the beginning, it almost felt a little light or superficial to be focusing in on hair, around vanity. But the reality is that when you start losing your hair, it affects the quality of your life.
Yeah.
I'm 60 years old. About 10 years ago, I started losing my own hair. I remember being in the gym and doing military press. And the way the gym was set up, there was a mirror. And I caught the reflection of the back of my head. And I realized I was losing my hair. And it profoundly affected me. And I wanted to create a solution that was something I would use myself. It was a personal mission to create something that I would use myself, something safe, effective, and easy to use.
Yeah. The concept behind Mascade is to introduce simple, elegant, sophisticated, effective products to both consumers and physicians. So we go B2B and we go D2C. Today I have our Mascade Anti-Aging Serum. It's full of peptides and growth factors, and it does amazing things for the skin. It reduces wrinkles and pores and discoloration. It improves texture. You know, we've been in the lab and we've been doing some studies with real people, real time, and looking at the benefits of all the Mascade products, but especially the Mascade Anti-Aging Serum. We're just seeing such amazing results in as few as 4 weeks. And what I really, really love about Mascade Consumer is that it's just so easy to put into your existing routine. It's nothing complicated. You don't have to change anything else. Once or twice a week, you know, just add the routine in and you'll have the best skin that you've ever had. It's an amazing product line, and I'm actually really proud of it.
The Mascade product portfolio is a set of products in facial aesthetics that combine well with other things that you may be using. You know, most people understand the importance of having clean skin, maybe exfoliation. What we've created with the anti-aging serum is something that can be used with your current products. You clean your skin, you exfoliate, you moisturize, but in that lineup, use the anti-aging serum first. This product was formulated with 17 peptides and 3 growth factors specifically targeted at the root cause of skin aging.
The Mascade product lineup it's a perfect complement to what we're already doing with Wethrivv, right? Under Wethrivv. I think that it just makes sense because we really focus on clean products, good ingredients, you know, and just making sure that they're manufactured the best possible way. And that's how Mascade fits into the Wethrivv ecosystem.
So our company, we formed it, I guess, 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And we've been very focused. We've been focused on having the best products, starting with Wethrivv, and now the Mascade product line in facial aesthetics.
Yeah.
I think as we grow, we'll introduce new products, but only if it makes sense, right?
Definitely. And I know that we're going to introduce new products. I can envision at least 2 pretty soon for Wethrivv. And also I have some ideas for Mascade as well.
You know, the reality is that when you age, half of men and a third of women lose their hair.
Yeah.
And everyone suffers from the appearance of fine lines and wrinkles and laxity and issues with skin. You know, I think what really helps us is that we have a lab. It's the hub of our innovation.
Yeah. Well, you know, I am a biohacker.
You are a biohacker. You know, I think our company will continue to grow. We will move more to international markets in addition to the United States.
Definitely.
And we'll be very purposeful. We're only going to introduce best-in-class products and products that can help in people's facial aesthetics and hair loss with products that make sense for us, right?
Right. I mean, I don't see us doing anything outside of hair or skin at this time, and it has to make sense. It's whatever is next, you know, and it makes sense.
You know, I think our ethos always comes back to focusing in on the physician or the customer.
Right.
And in doing so, just creating products that matter. You know, we don't want to have other products that are Me Too or undifferentiated.
No, we don't. And that's why I'm not going to announce the product but you know what I've been thinking about for probably 5, 6, 7, 8 years. I can see that coming to fruition later this year, and it's going to work perfectly. It's going to be one of the next best products that Wethrivv makes.
Yeah, you know, and I think that's our ethos. We create products that are better. The idea of creating a product like someone else's, but being a bit cheaper or whatever, there's no point. It's a waste of our time.
No point.
It's a waste of our time.
Yeah.
I actually am willing to say today, for the first time ever, that we're building a men's line, a line to deal with bringing out the best in the man.
Yeah.
And those products, I think, are going to be really a game changer.
And they'll fit in. I mean, it's going to be a perfect fit with what we're already doing, and I can see it doing really well.
You know what makes us special, Amy, I think, is the fact that our medical advisory board is multidisciplinary. We have cardiologists, urologists, OBGYNs, derms and plastic surgeons working with us.
Yeah.
And I think in that context, we can really focus on women's health and men's health.
Yeah. And I love the fact that our company, Wethrivv, is so science-based. I mean, I know a lot of companies say they're science-based, but maybe they don't have a lab or they don't have a medical advisory board with all these doctors who bring different things to the table. So I think that is definitely a differentiating factor between us and other bigger and smaller brands that may be in the same industry.
You know, I think unfortunately many companies focus on the top line or the bottom line,
Right.
or the cap table or a spreadsheet.
Yep.
We focus on science. We focus on products that matter.
Yeah, we do. I don't know if you remember, Sanjay, that gentleman that I was talking to for a while. His name is Dave. And I've been talking to him for at least 3, 4, 6 months. I don't remember. Because he didn't think that Wethrivv was working for him.
Right.
And I would ask him, I'd say, hey, you know, can you send me your latest photos? And in his text messages, he would say to me, I don't see any changes. I said, okay, send me the photos. And then I would literally, you know, in Photoshop, put them next to each other, and I'd send them back to him. And he was in shock. He was actually shocked that his hair had grown that much. But because everyone forgets what they look like when they started their hair growth journey, or any journey, he was really surprised. And I will tell you that he's still a customer to this day, and he's always singing our praises.
You know, I'm really humbled by stories like that.
Yeah.
And the fact that we care about people enough to remind them, take your photo, document, remember what you used to look like, so as you go on your journey, you can see the progress that you'll make.
Yeah. Yeah, and then, you know, what I found when we were in the lab, you know, working with our study participants with Mascade anti-aging, you know, same kind of thing. You know, people always forget where they start. But because we have the face analyzer and we have global photos, and when you can show someone, you know, what they look like and what they look like now, and then you can quantify it, that's a win.
Yeah, and as you know, recently we acquired in the lab a device to look at transdermal delivery of products. And so non-invasively, we can see how the anti-aging serum is doing.
Yeah.
We can see how it's working with Mascade, how it's working with the HA serum. And the same for scalp. We're going to see Wethrivv and how it enters into the base of the follicle. I mean,
Right.
it's such an exciting time for us.
You know what I'm seeing the most with the Mascade Serum, just from so many random people, including my sister, is they're getting compliments and people are saying their skin looks great. And then when I look at them, what I'm seeing is like this youthful glow.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to say. It's almost like there's a little bit of a lift, but it's definitely a youthful, natural glow. Everybody looks younger.
I mean, remember last weekend we had a couple over to our home. We
Yeah.
went out for dinner.
Yep.
The wife looked amazing.
She
And you
did.
could just see it in her
Yeah,
skin.
she
The
did.
crepiness, the texture.
Yep.
There was definitely a glow. You're right.
Yeah. So we have products that work.
We have products that work, and we're going to continue building them as
Yeah.
it makes sense.
Absolutely.
My advice to someone, whether they're a male or female, if they're starting to lose hair or they have a family history of hair loss, is to start early. Start the treatments early
Exactly.
and think carefully, right, about
Right.
what treatment makes sense for you, because the
Right.
products that are on the market, many of them have side effects.
Mm-hmm.
So the earlier you start, the less painful it will be, the less money you'll spend,
The less
and the better result you'll have.
Yeah.
It's like the basic concept of an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure.
Absolutely. That would be my advice to anyone who is, curious about their hair and whether they're losing it or growth. But there are people who just lose it, right? So maybe they had an illness or they had something, and it wasn't something that just wasn't part of their aging or their genetics, right? So,
Right. And you said this earlier, but the reality is when you look in the mirror
Yeah.
and you notice something has changed,
Yeah.
it's probably changed much more than you realize. So when I first noticed that I was losing hair here,
yeah,
I had actually lost about 40% of my hair. By the time I realized it, I was 40% gone.
right.
So starting early, thinking of prevention is the way to go, right?
Definitely. And, if something should happen to you that's out of your control, do some research.
Yeah.
Start off with something simple. You don't have to jump to a hair transplant, right? You want to use something that's clean and is easy to use and isn't toxic for you or your body.
And I think we're going to see this tremendous paradigm shift where people will care about safety first.
Yeah.
It has to start with safety.
True.
There's no point taking a risk and then hoping for the best.
Yeah.
And we see it in our friends.
Yeah.
People who are on finasteride and minoxidil, drugs that have tremendous side effects. I mean, people don't even really talk about the side effects, but they're there.
Right. I don't even know if all people or most people know how serious the side effects can be.
Yeah, you're right. And I think as we build our company
Yeah.
and as we focus on our core values, the utmost value is to be safe, effective, and science-based. And I think
Yeah.
that's what we've done at Wethrivv.
And a good valued resource
Yeah.
to people.
Right.
Giving them information that's important. It may not just be about, promoting our products, but just, the science of, the hair growth cycle and,
Well,
what you need to do.
Yeah, well, you have a background in education and training.
Yeah.
And I think that really helps us as we pursue our goals and as we try to create the best-in-class products that we can.
Yeah, I agree.
I really like working with Amy. First and foremost, she's my wife. She's also my best friend. And I think we've created this sort of trust with one another that we can speak freely and do what's right for our customers. And sometimes it means we have different points of view. But because we have different points of view, at the end, the decisions we make are always better.
And what I value most about working with you is, well, there are a lot of different things, but just learning, because you have such a great way of sharing sometimes complex and difficult information and breaking it down into a place that someone who's a lay person could understand it. And I remember just the other day, you were talking to me and Erica, and we were talking about peptides, right? And just the way you shared that information with us, Erica got it immediately, I got it immediately, and I can say for as long as we've been together and working together, I'm constantly learning from you. You know, a lot of different things, but mostly the science. Like, I think what I appreciate most about working with you is how much I learn, because you're an amazing teacher and you can break down a complex idea and explain it to someone like me or, you know, a 10-year-old, and they get it. And aside from that, I think we share similar values. We work really well together. You have your strengths and I have my strengths, and I think as long as we can stay in our lane, that we work really, really well together. And it's fun.
Yeah. You know, it definitely is fun. I think we bring out the best in each other.
Definitely.
And one thing I really appreciate about you is how you connect with younger people and older people, people of all ages. You talk sometimes to our customers who are, I don't know, maybe 70, 80 years old, and you make them feel good, and you can connect with them in a way that improves the quality of their life.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm so glad that we created Wethrivv. You know, and it was during a time that was actually pretty awful. I mean, COVID, but a lot of really good things came from COVID. Yeah. You know, and this was one of them.
You know, we both have experience working for big companies. We understand corporate America.
Yeah.
But I think where we thrive is being entrepreneurs, creating products, working with our friends, and being small and just doing something that really matters for us.
Yeah, I agree. And I wouldn't go back to that corporate world for anything.
Nor would I.
Yeah.
I just keep working with my wife.
I'll stick with you.